Jayson Tatum speaks up about his ejection from last night's game that made the Celtics play a little short-handed with no Jayson Tatum in the fourth quarter, but luckily they still pulled out the victory. We'll break down what his explanation and how he felt was reasonable for his ejection, and we'll also be diving into one Boston Celtic that has been a savior for this team when the injuries have come through. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and I'd like to say thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribers button. We've recently just hit 2,400 subscribers, and we wanted to get to our goal of 3,000 subscribers. So if you guys enjoy Boston Celtics content and make sure you want to see Boston Celtics content daily, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we provide that for you guys every single day. And no other Celtics channel can provide Celtics content daily besides Celtics Digest. But let's get into the news at hand. So make sure to grab a snack and get ready to go, as this is going to be a jam-packed episode as we dive into some Boston Celtics news. First, we'll be looking at how Al Horford is our savior. Yes, Al Horford has stepped up tremendously for the Boston Celtics. As you guys know, the Celtics have a weakened front court already with guys like Kristaps, Porzingis, Al Horford, and then they have some stretch guys, Kornet, neemias, Oshae, Brissett, Lamar Stevens, some lower guys toward the bottom. And with Kristaps Porzingis being hurt, you would expect that the front court needs some bolstering help, as they're going to need a guy to step up and take the role of Kristaps Porzingis. And Al Horford has done that tremendously for the Boston Celtics. If we want to look here, we can look at his last 2 games for the Boston Celtics without Kristaps Porzingis. And as you guys can see, he has been completely dominant for this team. We look at his game versus the Chicago Bulls. He shot 75% for the field, 66% from 3, 9 total rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and 16 points. An overall great game from Al Horford. And then last night's game versus the Philadelphia 76ers, he had a huge impact again, 33 minutes, but shooting 77.8% from the field, 50% from 3, 100% from free throw, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, which we'll get into, and 20 points. Al Horford stepping up and being a huge contributor for this Boston Celtics offense. And we want to look at Al Horford's stats from the whole season. As you guys can see, he's not doing the greatest. He's only averaging 7.6 points, 6.6 total rebounds, 2.8 assists, and shooting lower numbers than he was last year, shooting 49% from the field, 35% from 3, and 100% from free throws. So you might be asking, like, how is he so impactful if he's had his numbers be a little bit worse? And that's because Al Horford has taken the role of being the 6th guy off the bench. We've mentioned in previous videos that the Celtics had 6 key starters that they wanted to start. Someone would have to take that bench role, and luckily for the Celtics, Al Horford was reluctant to take that bench role and being more of a bench player, being more of a team player. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown had expressed that they felt very confident in Al Horford doing that, and they valued him very much. But then when Al Horford is needed to step up, when guys like Kristaps Porzingis or even a guy like Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown sits out for a game, he can be an impactful piece like we've seen. He's already hitting his shots. He's being an impactful piece for this team on both sides of the ball. And like I mentioned, those 2 blocks, he was impactful for the Boston Celtics on those 2 key blocks in the fourth quarter. I don't have a clip of it for you guys, but he had 2 insane blocks late in the fourth quarter that solidified a great possession for the Celtics and got the momentum rolling for this team. And Al Horford can just be that guy, plug and play. Wherever you need him to be impactful for this team, he is going to do it. And that is what you want to see out of a guy who is a bench role player, because when the playoffs come up and he's impacted and he needs his name called onto him, I believe that Al Horford will step up tremendously for the Boston Celtics. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Obviously, Al had a slow start to the season with his shooting, but in the recent games, stepping up for Kristaps Porzingis, he's been a benefactor for this team, a true X factor, a great addition, and I think that later on in the season, if he keeps this up, it's going to be tremendous for the Boston Celtics, as a lot of teams are going to have a lot of trouble guarding against a guy in Al Horford if he can put up 10 to 12 a night on them if he's needed to. But let's dive into the impactful news, talking about how Jayson Tatum explains his ejection. And if you guys missed the game last night, Jayson Tatum got 2 technical fouls. I will say they were very soft technical fouls, and he was ejected from the game in the third quarter. Jayson Tatum was furious, was not excited about that. The Celtics still got the win and beat the Philadelphia 76ers without Jayson Tatum in the fourth quarter, due to Payton Pritchard having a 10-point fourth quarter. Guys like Derrick White and Jrue Holiday finding the right plays on offense and making the right plays on defense. But let's look at how Jayson Tatum explains his ejection. As you can see, we have this article from Boston.com with a bunch of quotes explaining how Jayson Tatum feels. So So Jayson Tatum said he was extremely surprised to be ejected from the Boston's 125-119 win against Philadelphia on Friday night at TD Garden. Tatum was whistled for a loose ball foul with 1.1 seconds left in the third quarter, and according to the NBA's post-game report, Tatum was asked multiple times to head to the bench, but continued to complain about the call. He whistled for his second technical foul, tossed from the game, and after he continued to talk. I felt like I got fouled, Tatum said. I was just trying to have a conversation about the play, and it was just kind of simple of that. To be honest, it did look like Tatum was complaining, and it looked like he was trying to talk, and we'll get into a little bit more in the video. But I understand what he's saying. It didn't really look like it was a foul on Jayson Tatum. Robert Covington kind of reacted like he did get elbowed in the face, but it didn't seem like it was that serious of an elbow to the face. It seemed like Robert Covington was trying to do a little bit more of a sell job for the 76ers, and I think that's what frustrated Tatum a lot during that as well. If we want to look at this, we can see that Jayson Tatum said, "Did I cuss? No, I didn't. I didn't say a cuss word. If you watch the clip, you can probably read my lips. No hand gestures. Me and Bill Kennedy were having a conversation, and the other two refs, like I said, the refs do have an effect on the game. They do have an effect on the outcome, and I don't agree with it," Tatum added. "I've been in the league long enough, and I've seen a lot worse behavior tolerated for a lot longer. So for those who throw me out of the game, I was shocked. They always say get your money's worth when you get fined for these texts, and I definitely did not get my money's worth." And I would totally agree with Jayson Tatum. It's not like he came out here and it's not like he came out here and he was cursing them out. He wasn't doing no dirty plays like Draymond Green does. He wasn't being like a knack or being an aggressive piece. This is only the second time Jayson Tatum has been tossed out of an NBA game, and the first time that he was tossed out was in a game that they had won late in the fourth quarter versus the New York Knicks. So this is very shocking characteristic to see out of Jayson Tatum. He's usually a leader. He's usually composed. He doesn't want to do that, but now this night, I guess that foul he just felt wasn't confident, and he is right. We've seen some bad plays called from the refs this season. We've seen a lot of flagrant fouls that have been called that have been unnecessary. We've seen a lot of flopping calls that have been called that I've seen from the Celtics or from other teams where I've been like, that's just a makeup call. So I do agree that the officiating has been worse, but let's look at some more quotes we hear from Jayson Tatum. Jayson said that he watched the rest of the game from elsewhere inside the TD Garden after the ejection, and he admitted that he was frustrated, but he wanted to clarify his level of disappointment. He said, "Again, I wasn't that blank mad, but don't put that narrative out there. I didn't throw nothing. I said what I said. There was no magic words. Assistant coaches were right there. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want me to play tonight. They were eager to get me out there. I walked back calmly," Tatum continued. "I sat in my chair. I got some ice. I was not mad. I didn't throw anything. I was just like, it's a joke. I had to laugh it off. So no, I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I got ice and watched the rest of the game and watched us win." Tatum said he did not feel like an ejection was warranted for his behavior. "I hate not being out there and to help the team win. I hate for all the people who came. Maybe it was some people's first game to come see me play, and it didn't see me get to play the entire game, but we still won, so there's some positives that came out of it tonight." That's exactly what you want to hear from your leader. Apparently, he's frustrated that the Boston Celtics players go see him, the fans go to go see him, and he cannot play in the whole game. That is devastating for Jayson Tatum. But like he said, he wasn't frustrated, he wasn't mad. Yes, he was clearly mad because he had to be held back from Charles Lee. He was frustrated about the call. But Jayson Tatum warranted that and was totally fine in handling the situation and going back to the locker room. Now, if we want to look at what the interview here, we can look at the Pool Report interview was conducted by Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe with crew chief Billy Kennedy, the guy that threw out Jayson Tatum. And if we want to look at this, we can see that the question was, what were the circumstances behind Jayson Tatum's ejection? And Kennedy said, following a loose ball foul, there was a call on Jayson Tatum. Jayson continues to complain about and was asked multiple times to head to the bench. He continued to complain about the foul, called on the floor, and overgenerally gestured toward the officials, and it was just a second technical foul. So the only reason he was ejected was because of the second technical foul. He did not make the statements. He would just prompted an ejection regardless of the technical foul. That is correct. Why was Tatum assessed a flagrant foul on that loose ball? After replay review, the unnecessary contact to the face had risen to the level of flagrant 1 after replay review. So I totally disagree on this because, like I said, in the beginning it looked like he elbowed him and he flopped a little bit. It didn't seem like it was necessarily a hard foul. And I totally agree that I don't think that this should have been a rightful ejection for Jayson Tatum. The one thing I have to say is Jayson Tatum definitely needs to calm himself down because he says he wasn't mad, but clearly you could see Charles Lee was holding him back and he was a little bit frustrated. Maybe he didn't say any words. Maybe he was just trying to get the explanation. He was pressing them a little too much. But Jayson Tatum's got to learn to calm down a little bit, especially in a game with no Tyrese Maxey, no Joel Embiid. You have to be that focal star. You have to be that good player. You have to be out there and not cause mayhem for your team, not putting it in the hands of Derrick White and Jrue Holiday and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Luckily, the Celtics got the W, and it is A-okay. The Celtics will be bouncing back, and Jayson Tatum will be in this game, so don't worry. Jayson Tatum will be ready to go for the next Celtics game. If you guys are still not subscribed at this point in the video, and you guys still enjoy this Boston Celtics content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today's episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.